Imports from China are going to cost more under the president's new tariffs, which kicked in last night. But he also issued a series of tweets this morning in which he said that if China tried to punish us by slapping tariffs on agricultural exports, the U.S. government would use the tariff money to buy up the leftover food. We called up Face the Nation host Margaret Brennan to to ask, really?
Yeah, that's not really how things work. It's not like there's that pot of cash just sitting there to be divvied up. What the president seems to be trying to message here is that he doesn't feel like he's under pressure to come to an immediate agreement with China. Talks midweek seem to be moving backwards. China kind of backed off some of the commitments they had previously made to change their own laws to protect the playing field, so to speak, for American businesses. And that's what triggered the president's decision to follow through on his threat to raise tariffs from 10 to 25% on Chinese-made goods that are purchased here, that come into the U.S. and are purchased here. This ultimately gets passed along to American consumers. So that's where you will see a cost impact. The president in the past had to put together bailouts for American farmers, put together aid packages to farmers who have been hurt by this trade war because China isn't purchasing goods from them in the amount they did previously. This was retaliation for what the president had done initially.
Other foreign policy issues. North Korea shoots off a couple of missiles, and we apparently have some intelligence that Iran may be planning to attack U.S. forces, and so we're sending an aircraft carrier into the area there.
B-52s, in addition to the aircraft carrier, were sent, redirected to the region to send sort of a muscular threat to the area to say, look, we will respond if U.S. forces or interests in the area are in any way threatened. This is in regard to intelligence the U.S. says they received but haven't detailed in terms of how specific it was. This seems to also be coinciding with increased worries that Iran may be backing out of the deal to keep their nuclear program frozen. We heard that happen the same week. So it is safe to say tensions are ratcheting up. It's something I'm going to speak to Bob Gates, the former CIA director and Secretary of Defense, about on Face the Nation this Sunday.
Right. Well, I mean, Iran is backing out of the deal, but we backed out of the deal. So didn't we expect that Iran might back out of the deal?
Well, here's the thing. People often forget it was an international agreement. This wasn't just America's deal. Russia, China, the UK, Germany, France, they were all part of it, and they've stayed in it. So Iran has kept its nuclear program frozen and allowed in international inspectors up to this point. So the U.S. kind of had the best of both worlds. They could say they withdrew, but they still got the benefit of Iran keeping its plan frozen. Now Iran is saying, wait a second, it's no longer to our benefit because the U.S. continues to sanction us. Financially, we're hurting, so why are we going to keep the program frozen at all? And that's where we are right now. It's making our allies around the world nervous. It may backfire for the United States because we haven't heard a plan for what happens if Iran restarts its nuclear program. And so that is what has led to this increased concern, even from China and Russia, that the Trump administration may be, ratcheting up rhetoric in a way that could backfire.
Yeah.